Oh, come in. I'm a story. Hello, guys. Welcome to my channel. This is One Man Reacts, and I just have a short video for you guys. This is a reaction from The View, right? And basically talking about Gabrielle Union and her recent comments about feeling entitled to cheating in her relationship. My personal view: cheating is wrong. Definitely, if I got cheated on, for example, I'd probably lose my mind. You know what I mean? It's a painful experience. I don't think anyone in the world, at least not many people, have a positive reaction to getting cheated on. And maybe outside the few cucks and stuff like and people like that, no one is actively looking forward to getting cheated on or sharing their spouse or their loved one with anyone else. Especially when you're in an intimate relationship, for example, it's crazy to think that cheating can be justified in any way. But then again, we are watching the video, right? We shouldn't necessarily be surprised. And I don't want to prejudge the video and give them a bad rap, but I can only imagine what they will say. You know what I mean? It is a view after all. So without much, let's get right into the video.
Well, here's a new take on the age-old subject of infidelity. In a recent interview, one of the friends of the show, Gabrielle Union, says that she felt entitled to cheat on ex-husband Chris Howard during their marriage since she was the one paying all the bills and bringing home the bacon. She said her mindset at the time was, quote unquote, whoever has the most gets to do whatever they want. She also
Now, that's an interesting perspective from Gabrielle Union. Right? She is saying it's she she kind of feels that she should cheat, right? Because she's earning more money, which I don't think ever in history has there been a man who thinks that way, that like his reward for doing all the hard work or taking care of the family in any way, shape, or form, right? His reward to be to step out on that marriage and effectively destroy it. It really makes no sense. I don't think women have ever been comfortable with cheating, especially since the world is now largely monogamous, right? So at least the West is. So they say that, oh, I'm making more money, so this is my reward, right? And I feel entitled to it. I think it's kind of crazy. But then again, it's Gabrielle Union. We know this woman. It's kind of like a Hollywood slut, but still, I mean, I don't know. What can you expect, honestly?
also adds that he was messing around too. Just FYI, before we hang poor Gabrielle. But is someone ever entitled to cheat, do you think?
It sounds like every man since the beginning of time.
Oh no, of course, of course. It sounds like every man since the beginning of time. This is a few. I mean, it sounds like she's not going to hold her accountable. I don't think you're going to deflect, make it a men's issue, make it, and like I said, I don't think there's any man who's like, oh, I'm doing all this hard work for my family, right? Going up, and the kind of jobs men do, right? And men of the past, for example, where there was no these cushy jobs and stuff like that, you're not necessarily stepping out, risking your life sometimes, working in the sewer pipes, working in construction, working in these kind of dangerous jobs to provide for a family just to break it up. It wasn't like, oh, I'm doing all this so that in the end I can cheat. No. But I mean, the view, what do you expect?
Not to be, but like you think about like male infidelity.
Yeah.
That's what was going
The
on.
norm.
Like I'm supporting this family. I'm doing what we do, and so I will
That's
have
true.
what I want when I want it.
You're
You know?
right.
It's a very masculine
It's a
take.
bit- yeah.
I was fascinated by it. I mean, Gab is a personal friend of mine, and it's nothing we've ever talked about. But she says that she got that behavioral take or that power dynamic take from her own father,
From her dad. Yeah.
And so I thought about Joy immediately with
Why?
the child.
This is interesting, actually. I don't know their personal relationship, if that's really true, right? I don't know who Gabrielle Union's dad is. And I don't know her relationship with her dad, but definitely this reeks of trauma, right? And it's usually just the case mainly that people who do get abused in one way, shape, or form, they continue abusing other people. Gabrielle Union, I don't think, and if this story is correct, I don't think she's healed from that emotional trauma where your dad is actively stepping out and destroying a marriage because he makes money. I don't think that's necessarily his motivation. I just think maybe it's an excuse, right? It's an excuse he gives for being such a shitty person, right? And he probably had his issues before that. Definitely not having any strong role models, and you can really see it in who Gabrielle Union chooses to date, how she chooses to use her body, right? She's not fully healed. And sometimes having a dad at home does not necessarily mean, right, that he will have the best upbringing. And I think her, for example, this might be the perfect case, right? She's sleeping around, doing things. I think now she's married, so we can only guess what she's doing behind the scenes, right? She has a kid and all this, but definitely not healing. And someone with this mentality that I felt entitled to cheat. I mean, you can only wonder how her current marriage is, especially now where I think she earns more than her husband, right? It's what's like Gabrielle Union's network. Um, Give me a second. Says estimated 40 million. And what's the guy's name again? Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade. That's worth basically 170. Oh, never mind. Let me see if it's the. Dwayne Wade. Oh, he is earning more money. So I guess this time she's not going to step out. It should never be an excuse. I don't know. For me, it's crazy. But just look at the view, defend it, and I think this man raises an important issue, right? Trying to link it to what her father did, and that kind of trauma, and you can only feel bad for her, but only so much because she is an adult, right? She makes these choices actively. Just because you've been abused or your dad was stepping out on your mom doesn't mean you have a free pass to be a piece of shit.
Childhood trauma therapy thing, and,
Original,
the original wound.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so she saw her father behaving that way and decided, well, that's the way that you behave. And I think, like Sarah said, from the beginning of time, men have felt because they pay the bills.
And
they
not
are
all men.
entitled-
I'm sorry in this room to all you very faithful
Yeah.
people.
all
Yeah.
two of you.
Both of you.
There's that power dynamic. I'm bringing home the bacon. I can do whatever I want. What are you
Yeah.
going to do about it? I pay for the kids' school, whatever.
I know, but you're cheating on your
But
wife.
I also think you could just marry the wrong person, and that's clearly what this was.
Oh no, oh no. Now, just before this stupid, oh my goodness, just before this stupid take, right? I think they were making a good point that maybe some men have taken advantage of their wives, for example. But to draw that and relate it to because they earn more money, I don't think that's the case. Okay, it's never going to be the case that I will be a cheater because I earn more money. Maybe it's a lack of morals, and I think that's something that we should address. Because if you are being honest, wives have stepped out of marriages and cheated, right? Men, women, and uh, who knows? I think it's almost 50-50, right? Like how men and women cheat essentially, right? But men are definitely more upfront about telling the truth if they do cheat. And very few men cheat, right? That's the issue. Very few men have the option of cheating. It's Most men are not going to get that chance. You're not going to get a chance of having multiple women. And even if you do, right, you are not secure enough or comfortable enough to, step out on your wife because you could lose everything, right? And at least you lose the respect of your kids. At least, even in the past, if maybe divorce was one way and you don't lose all your money, you lose the respect of kids. You lose their love. You lose their respect for you. Essentially, and I don't think many men are around there who are looking for you know looking for ways to actively hurt their kids, actively hurt their wives. It's just an unfortunate thing that men are sexual beings and women are also sexual beings, and sometimes a percentage of people, when given the opportunity, will cheat. And it's not necessarily a gender thing, I don't believe. Um, but before that, I think she's coming to talk about marrying the wrong person. How that's a justification? Oh my goodness, it's a justification for cheating.
That was not her soulmate. She's now super happily married. They have the most beautiful family. And I thought about this with my husband. if we had gotten together maybe a few years prior to when
Gabrielle.
we did, I don't know that it would have worked. I think timing is
Timing's
so
huge.
big
That's
in
true.
relationships. I was too immature. I would have gotten jealous. He was,
Oh my god. See, eh, oh my goodness, you hear this all the time, right? I was a kid, I was too young, and he groomed me. People of legal age just not taking accountability, not taking accountability for your actions. And I think this is a perfect excuse for her also, that you just didn't marry the right person, right? Like if you feel that you are in a relationship and maybe the sex isn't right, and you do get married, right? For example, and the sex isn't right, you are not enjoying it because you've been run through, you were a hoe before you did get married, which is essentially who Gabrielle Union is, right? And you don't have the ability to pay a bond. What this woman is saying essentially is that you married the wrong person, right? So yeah, you have free lines. It's cool. It's not your fault. You're not feeling it. Just move on. Find someone else. And it's a very destructive thing. Firstly and foremost, like having premarital sex indiscriminately is probably the worst thing you can do if you want to get married. We know the stats, especially on the women's side, right, of how they are unable to hold any marriages if their body count is above a certain number, right? And for this man to, shift the blame, essentially make it mythical and say, oh, it's you just chose the wrong person, the right person somewhere. You just have to find them. So okay, you can cheat now, blah blah. It's crazy. The truth is, sometimes you will marry the right person, right? Sometimes you might marry the wrong person, but it's always about you making it work out. Honestly, outside cheating, if your spouse cheats on you, I don't really see why she leave the marriage. Maybe and definitely if your life is being threatened, let's say you are with an abusive husband, for example, or an abusive wife, women too can hit and hit hard. And if you are in that kind of space, then definitely you should be looking to get out of it, right? But besides that, there's no and besides that, that gives no one license to cheat. And it's not because you are with the wrong person. You should always try to make things work out. That's how marriages are built. People went finding quote unquote soulmates in the past, right? But they were still making marriages work because I depend on you, you depend on me. My wife needs me, I need my wife, right? My kids need me. That's kind of the mentality that was going around. It's not about my happiness, it's about the happiness of my spouse. Because I can find ways to make myself happy, right? Find things to achieve, to become greater, which can lend me a sense of peace and joy and happiness. And for me not to be happy, definitely is all me. Right? And it shouldn't be I have to get sex outside marriage to be happy. If you are that kind of person, then definitely you are so broken, and you shouldn't be getting married in the first place. If you need sex, especially outside your marriage, to be happy, that's crazy. Um, no justification, but then again, this is a view.
And so I think she was probably too young. It wasn't the right fit, and now she's got like what looks like an incredible marriage.
Yeah.
Listen, I love Gabrielle Union. I love how real, authentic, and
Yeah.
transparent she is. She's shared with us her fertility struggles. She's not trying to pretend to be a perfect person that's leading a perfect life. And I really appreciate her honesty. And frankly, I think she's entitled to do whatever the hell she wants. And I think a lot of it was revenge, right?
Maybe.
He was cheating on her,
But we
and I
don't
was
know
like,
that.
you know what?
We don't know which came first.
Well, she knows who came, who, I mean, she was
Chicken
talking
egg
about
or the
it.
girl on the side, whatever. Like
Listen,
Okay. I mean, I don't know if she's mad. I don't know about her, but my goodness, if you are her husband, then I gotta feel bad for you. I do feel bad for any man who steps in a relationship with this chick. Definitely, she's crazy, and she doesn't think there's a need to hold women accountable. Whether a man cheated first or not, see if the man cheats and you don't want to be there, you leave. It's common sense, right? For me, especially being a guy myself, if my girlfriend cheats or my wife cheats or something like that, I don't think I'm staying in a relationship. It just is how I am wired, right? And I have to take responsibility. I do not cheat in response. No, it's there's no honor among thieves, right? You don't participate in the same thing and then be like, oh, I'm on a higher pedestal. And especially for Gabrielle, who says she felt entitled to. It's like it's my God given right. Right? It's my God given right to cheat on my husband because I'm making more money. My goodness, that's crazy. And for another hour to defend it is just crazy. My again is consistent. What do you think?
I mean, Papa, if you dare cheat on Gabrielle Union, you deserve to be cheated on. Yeah, we're done. But is there never a situation of this? I'll get in trouble, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like you're married, you're not happily married, your sex is like, oh, both sides are bored with the whole thing, or you're fighting a lot, but there are children involved. Now you
Yeah.
meet somebody at the office, and you have a fling. I mean, you want to keep the marriage together. You don't want the kids to go berserk on you. You know, that happens.
No. If you want to keep your marriage together, you don't have the flame. My goodness. It should be common sense, but
Is there any possibility that there is justification for that scenario?
Okay, now I have thoughts on this. So if you can live with yourself for that or whatever, and it's a one-time fling or something like that, I'm sure there are ways you can get around. But the most important thing is if you start to fall in love with people and you change how you are at home.
No. This is bullshit. See, one time fling, falling in love. And I think she's looking at it from a woman's perspective, right? Which I can't understand. Like, I think certain women definitely you can't understand, and you can't understand that if you are with a man who is like earning a certain amount of money, right? And you only choose him because of money, right? Then you are not guaranteed any morals. So if you are not guaranteed any morals, right? This guy could be, a bad boy. Definitely, he has the money, and he'd probably have a lot of women around him, right? So if this guy, you are not get marrying him because he's a good person, but rather I want the money, specifically because of that, then definitely there's this large chance that he's going to be an undertaker. He's going to be someone who doesn't stay committed. And if that's what you are getting into, then that's fine. Then you don't come out and cry about cheating. That's fine. And I think beforehand, those kind of arrangements, I do not know. I don't know how they work, right? Whether the man is fine, he's cheating, moving around, whether he's fine with his wife cheating also. And if he's cheating, I don't know. It's usually not the case. But the point is, it shouldn't be, as she's saying that a fling is okay, but falling in love, that is wrong. Each is equally wrong. And for a man to give herself to another man, for example, who she's not romantically involved with, she doesn't love him. Damn, then that's a really broken woman. And that's a really broken woman.
The example you set is
Yeah.
your kid's understanding of how to love someone. So if you become bitter and cynical and there's a lot of yelling and screaming, and that is not serving anyone because kids don't then comprehend how to find the partner.
But
that
what if
matches.
there's no yelling and screaming?
Well, slowly, I think if you become resentful of being stuck there because you're loving on someone else and they're not turning to you and you're not communicating, I can't help but think that's not going to snowball.
The cheater in the relationship has to take that secret to the grave. Because you live and deal with the mess and the chaos.
Don't put that monkey on my back.
Don't put it on my back.
See, oh my god, oh my god, the cheater has to lie essentially. So essentially, what she's saying is that if you are cheating, just don't get caught. Oh my goodness. Then, how do you expect? And actually, she's saying that like it's okay if you have a one-time fling. How do you even know if it's a one-time thing? For example, when you are actively condoning people who cheat, lie. My goodness.
And I've always felt that way. And don't publicly humiliate me.
Yeah,
I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
That's part
No,
of
I
it.
feel like I could forgive like a
live with
drunken
the shame.
hookup mistake. I could forgive like a drunken hookup mistake. I could not
Of
forgive
course,
falling
you
in
can.
love.
Of course, this chick can. Oh my goodness. You can forgive because it's something that she participates in herself. My goodness, she just looks like a girl who is in the university who gets all the attention, goes to parties nonstop. If you're a married man and you are still going to parties, my goodness. If you're a married woman, definitely, man. If you are dating anyone and she's actively going to parties, my goodness, that's a red flag. Or actively seeking attention. So let's look at some of the comments though. Cheating is never right for any reason. Oh, this is a woman. She kind of seems very base. The pain and distraction it causes a person and family is indescribable. Yeah, it's a cowardly thing to do. Be an adult and leave, I guess, or fix it at work, or work on it. That's good. Um, I love it when I love it how it always seems to roll around to how any bad behavior by woman is a man's fault. I know. Excuse me. Before we've already spoken about how um, Gabrielle Union's infidelity may be because of how how her dad raised her. Yes. So there again, opposing on a man's fault, and also later on they are talking about how it's okay to cheat. I guess one of the women is setting up that scenario where the sex is not good, right? So definitely it's on the man, and it's justification to cheat. My goodness, cheating is never justifiable. If you're unsatisfied in a relationship, then leave. Yeah, leave. You leave the marriage and don't take nothing in alimony and that stupid stuff. My goodness, take your L and leave, and that makes you a way better person than these cheaters. It's interesting how selective Sunny is about certain topics. So I don't know really who Sunny is, but yeah, basically that's it. And I think that's it. Joy, that's called an open relationship. Bad sex or busy work schedule is not an excuse to cheat. Exactly. If you want to be with others, you can communicate an open relationship. My goodness, no, bro. D- Especially for a man, do not be in an open relationship. And I don't see the benefit on the woman's side either, honestly. This is I do not agree. But if you're in an open relationship, you should already have a healthy. See, these relationships just never last and they never work. Guys, it's the view as usual. Women not being held accountable. I don't know what much to say. If you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you.